Hey guys, how are ya? How you doing? My name's Teresa. It's nice to meet ya. This is episode 1 of Pretty Twisted Podcast. I am coming to you today from Central Florida, about an hour north of Tampa and a couple hours west of Orlando. This is where I live with my husband, my daughters, and my 3 cats. Thank you so much for joining me today. This has been long overdue. I have been wanting to do this for about 5 years and kept waiting for the right time. But you know what? If I'm honest and I keep waiting for the right time, it's gonna be another 5 years and I'm just not gonna do it. So I have to just jump in and just do it. So here we go. We'll see how this goes. I really have no idea. I have never recorded anything before. I've never edited anything before, and I've never uploaded anything before to YouTube. But this is a little corner of the internet where I want to share all about my knitting, sometimes crochet, yarn dyeing, shenanigans, and general crafty life. I will warn you, this is going to be very heavy on the sock content. It is what it is. I don't know what to say. So I'm going to start with some whips. I cast on Thursday the Vertices Unite shawl by Stephen West on Instagram. If you don't follow Aquila, a Lefty Knitter podcast, and Aquila DeHun, go follow her. She's amazing peeps. Her and her husband, Johnny Bo, he dyes yarn, and she has a cranking service on Etsy where she will crank sock tubes, and she has a couple different listings in her shop for different cranking services. So she had posted that she was going to cast on this shawl, and I have not knit a shawl in 3 years. I had a 3-year hiatus from knitting. I went back to work full-time when my husband retired from the Navy in 2017, and I was working at Ulta full-time as a makeup artist, and I just didn't have time to knit, so I didn't knit for about 3 years. And I've only ever knit one other Stephen West pattern, which was the Exploration Station, and it was so much fun. And since I picked knitting back up again in October, I've really only knit socks and some stuffies. So I thought, what better inspiration to knit along and go ahead and just cast this on and see what happens. So I went deep stash diving, and you guys, I found some skeins that I completely forgot I had. Not only that, I ended up coming up with 5 skeins that are all the same base that go together. So much fun. I need to shop my stash a lot more often. So I love how these colors are playing together. And as Chevy Rell would say, they're making some sweet, sweet yarn coitus. I mean, come on, that is just, I can't even. It's a little crazy, but it's a Stephen West pattern. These yarns, they can just do what they want, and the yarn coitus will just determine what happens, and it's just gonna be great. I love how every stitch is just different. So my color A is by Primrose Yarn Co. And I caked this one up already. The cake's getting a little crazy all right, I bought. This is a collab. These two, my color A and B, are a collaboration that Vine and Primrose Yarn Co. did in 2017. So I got these together. So I'm super glad I'm getting to use them together in a project. So I decided to do color A and color B so that these could play together. So this is the one by Primrose Yarn Co. and it is called Hysteric. And then this is the Vine skein and it's called Reef Madness. Love, love, love. All of these skeins that I found are the same base. And I'm not usually super picky about like if I'm knitting a shawl and it has multiple skeins, the fiber content being the same. I do like the weight and the twist and stuff like that to sort of match, but these skeins I found are all an 80-10-10. So 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon. Buttered kittens, y'all. So soft. I'm loving this. I'm going to show you the other skeins. So that was my color A and B. My color C is also from Vine. And this is in her Solstice colorway. Gorgeous. Those speckles though. Oh my gosh, I can't. So pretty. My color D is from Legacy Fiber Arts on their Cozy Toes based. Again, 80-10-10. And this is a colorway called Dragon Eggs. Again, I got these all in 2017. And this is their older ball band. So I'm going to keep all the ball bands for nostalgia. So, so, so pretty. I can't even. And then color E is something that I dyed in 2017. And it's a one of a kind. Couldn't tell you what I did. Don't remember. Didn't write it down. It's an oak. One of a kind. It's just a beautiful tonal pink. So I'm really glad I'm getting to use some of the skeins that I dyed in 2017. I started dyeing yarn then, and as kind of a hobby, I did sell a little bit, but like I said, then I went back to work full time and life, so didn't dye yarn. I started dyeing yarn again, I want to say in like January or February, and I'm the kind of person where I will learn the basics of how to do something, and then I want to do the most complicated thing. For example, when I picked up knitting again in 2013, I knit a couple dishcloths, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna knit an intarsia blanket. So I don't know what's wrong with me. So many things, but it's okay. So in 2017, when I was dyeing yarn, I was like, okay, cool. I can do this. I want to dye self-striping yarn. Looked up some videos on YouTube, and at the time, Laura from Jinx Yarns had videos up on her YouTube. She's no longer dyeing yarn, and the videos aren't there anymore, but she had a whole series on how to dye yarn and her process for dyeing self-striping. So in 2017, I kind of watched those, bought a warping board, but never tried it. So in, like I said, late January, February, I decided I'm just gonna try this. And I sat at my warping board for hours, days if I'm honest, and tried warping these big long skeins. There was a lot of cussing, hair pulling. I finally figured it out, and that's just like one step, right? So then you still have to like tie it all up, section off the colors, dye it. It's a lot. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of prep. If you kind of mess up on one step, the whole rest of the process it goes downhill. And I'm really hard on myself, right? So if I get like a speck of a color where it shouldn't be, I'm like, this is crap. I'm crap. I'm never doing this again. So anyway, I kind of finally sort of figured it out, and my husband bought me a warping mill, which makes the whole process so much more streamlined and easy. Well, it's not easy, but it makes it a lot less frustrating. So I just started coming up with all these colorways, and I was like, I need to write all these formulas down. So I started writing formulas down of just what I did. And then I started making swatches so that I could put colors together, see how they play, and if it's going to make a good striping combination. And that was the golden ticket. I was like, this is so much fun. It's a lot like makeup. I love color, texture, making things for other people to use. So anyway, long story short, I listed some on Etsy, and some of them sold, and I was like, what? So I wanted to, start podcasting, and I started in October, watching knitting podcasts again, and just fell down that rabbit hole. Found Aquila and Johnny Bow. I want to say it was through like Fiber Nymph Dye Works. I searched on YouTube for yarn dyeing podcasts, not necessarily tutorials, but like other yarn dyers who are sharing what they do on YouTube. Came across, I knew about Fiber Nymph Dye Works, but came across her podcast where she mentioned Johnny Bow. So I searched that, found him, found Aquila, which you guys, she is such an inspiration. I want to be like her when I grow up, even though I think I'm like 5 or 6 years older than she is, but she's amazing. Anyway, she had mentioned on one of her podcasts with this cranking service, like, hey, if you're a yarn dyer and you're trying to get yourself out there, hit me up and send me some samples. I'll crank them for you. And I was like, oh my God, I should do that. But I'm always kind of scared. Like, I'm always late to the party. It's hard to, I guess, put myself out there. So I just reached out to her, and this is super funny. So I woke up one morning and I looked on Instagram, and it was like, a Lefty Knitter podcast, Aquila's live. And I'm so new to all this. I stumble upon a lot. I thought I was joining like a chat. It said join Aquila live. So I join, and I'm like on with her, and I'm like in my pajamas running around the house trying to find like a good spot where my house is like a disaster. But we had some really nice small talk, and it was awesome. And I asked her like, hey, what's the listing for, the cranking service for samples? And she's like, I don't have one. But then we chatted a little bit, and she bought a skein of yarn from me. What? So nice. She did not have to do that. Anyway, so I dyed up her skein. I dyed up something to send along with it, which is a colorway I named Janibo Dyes because it reminded me of some dye works that he had done, and I sent them to her. She finally received them. I was scared, I don't know, but the post office, it took longer than I expected, I guess, to get there, and I was nervous, but it got there, and she got it yesterday, so super fun. Can't wait. That was a really long story, and I don't really remember where I was going with it, but self-striping yarn. So yeah, figured it out, started dyeing stuff, having a blast. So that brings me to another whip. Now, y'all, here's where the sock content is gonna get heavy. Okay, this is a skein of yarn that I dyed and started knitting up. This colorway is called Okay. I should have said without the progress keepers on it. Okay, so here's the stripes. It's like a country blue, a forest green, a chartreuse, a white, lilac, and then like a violet color. And the mini I dyed with it, oh, I was so happy with how it came out. It's like a reverse speckle, so I'm gonna do that for toes, heels, and cuffs. This is the cake. Oh, it's a hot mess, but if you want to see it, this is listed on my Etsy shop. My Etsy shop is Pretty Twisted Yarns, if anyone wants to support my yarn habit. Thanks. This is the mini. Pretty cool. So I was pretty happy with that. That came out really good. Now, the reason this is called Okay is because I am sending Kay from the Crazy Sock Lady. It's, okay, on her podcast, Noble Character Crafts sent her some prizes for Summer Sock Camp 2021. And one was a bag for a giveaway. One was a bag for Kay. And the bag for Kay, she loved, and she was like, you know, if this doesn't scream Kay, I don't know what does. So I kind of pulled the colors from that bag and made this self-striping yarn. So for Summer Sock Camp 2021, I'm going to send a skein of that plus the mini in for a prize for her to give away as she deems appropriate for Summer Sock Camp. So when I was watching it, she said, oh, I really love this bag. I was like, okay. And then her name is Kay, so see what I did there. Oh my gosh, I am a dork. Anyway, moving right along. My next whip is a sock. This is a pattern by Kay from the Crazy Sock Lady, and it's called Rainbow Connection. Super fun. Oh my god. Love how this is knitting up. So the self-striping is a rainbow that I dyed up, and the gray is Dove Heather from Knit Picks Stroll. Gray, I think, is my favorite neutral, and sometimes I feel bad for saying that because I love all colors equally, and I feel bad for like beige and taupe and stuff when I say gray is my favorite, but if I'm given the choice, I will tend to gravitate toward gray. I don't know why. So I put the self-striping cake, I had knit up this yarn cozy patterned by Nitty Natty and put it in there. And it's super fun because I get to see the stripes as I knit. And then Dove Heather, I think, is probably one of my favorite grays. And a lot of people use this. So I have cast on 64 stitches. Following the pattern, I did a slip stitch, heel flap, heel turn, gusset, Can't wait to wear these. So that is a whip. Okay, so the next, I have a hoe. This is a half finished object. This is yarn that I dyed. And this is the colorway After the Rain. It's got the rainbow and then another equal size section of this gray. And I loved how it just looks like a stormy sky. So that's why I called it After the Rain. It reminded me of living in Hawaii. In the afternoons, it would always rain and then clear up and there would always be a rainbow. And it's kind of like the clouds going by and how in the distance you see like rain coming down. So that's also in my shop. This is my Lush base, which is a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 4-ply fingering. And you guys, I actually cast on a second sock. What? That doesn't happen very often. But look, I have it. I have these on here because I mark my rounds so that I don't forget where I'm at, and so I can like make them matchy. Yeah. Okay. So what I did for, oh, let me show you. This is the gobstopper ball. I freaking love making these balls. It's just so pretty and cool how you can see it stripe up. It's a lot of work to hand wind these balls. But I think it's worth it if you're paying that extra money for self-striping to get something that's like, I don't know, like a piece of art that somebody took the time to like hand wind and make look really pretty. I know I like when I get self-striping yarn from an indie dyer, I really like the gobstopper balls. I mean, I like Twisted Hanks and I like yarn period, but these are always really cool. Anyways, what was I going on about? I have been liking, so my favorite method for knitting socks used to be toe up. Like I said, I'm like, go big or go home. So when I learned how to knit a sock, I was like, I'm gonna knit 2 at a time, toe up, legal heel. And that's what I used to do. I used to do that. So, and then I used to always I used to always knit toe up socks. I thought that was the better way to do it. I don't know why, but when I started knitting again and started following Kay from the Crazy Sock Lady, she prefers cuff down, and I decided to try that, and I like it better right now. I like the ribbing better. I like the cast on better. I think I get some flair. When I do toe up, I do Jenny's Surprisingly Stretchy Bind Off, which is fine, but it's a little bit flared. So I like the look, I think, of a cuff down sock better. Anyway, these I knit toe up. I don't know. I like to knit all kinds of socks and use different techniques. So I cast on 12 stitches using Judy's Magic Cast On. Increased for the toe, knit up. I cut in for an afterthought heel, and this is a shorty, so I did 20 rounds after the heel markers, and then I think I only did like 10 rounds for the cuff. So these are going to be like summer shorty socks. So that is that. I have also been trying to do Scrappy Sunday. I have a couple scrappy projects on the needles. They're to give me motivation to work on them. I've been trying to do Scrappy Sunday. Doesn't always work. It is what it is. I'm the boss of my own knitting. I do what I want. Okay, so this is a throw. It's called the Cozy Comfort throw, I believe. Okay, now, if I'm wrong on any of this, I will attempt to either put it you know, like text right here. I don't know how to do any of that. Or link it in the doobly-doo. I don't know how to do that either, but I'll attempt it. Now, I believe this pattern, well, I know it's from Molly from a Homespun House, and I believe it's called Cozy Comfort Throw. So I am using, no, I'm such a dork. This is the Habitation. Yep, this is Habitation. This is the Habitation throw. Oh, who's this by? Helen Stewart. This is the Habitation throw by Helen Stewart. Sorry, I'm a dork. Okay. I'm using some Patreon minis. I don't even know how to do this. From a Homespun House. These first 3 are, I want to say they're March Patreon minis from Molly at a Homespun House. And then I got a mini set from Ruby and Roses called the Cathedral mini set, and I started adding that in. So I will work on that some more tomorrow, which is Sunday. I think I forgot to say today is Saturday, May 1st. Happy May. If all goes well, you will be watching this on Sunday, May 2nd. That's the plan. Hopefully all goes well. I don't know. Oh, but so what I'm doing for color changes, I don't care where the color changes. I'm not doing it like at the beginning of a round or a section or anything. I am using a magic knot method. So I wound up this cake to start with my next color. And then after the Ruby and Roses color, the next 3 are April, a Homespun House Patreon minis. So they're 10 gram minis. I combined them with a magic knot and wound them into a pretty little cake. So I think that's most of the knitting that I have. Peep my balls, guys. These are some of my balls that I done made. This here is all the Cathedral set minis, which I'll share as I knit them up into that throw. What else? Do you want to meet my cat? She's really pretty. Kitty! So I have 3 cats. My cat, like my baby cat, we call her Kitty. It's a funny story. She's rubbing up against the tripod. Her actual name is Isis. Now, I named her because she is a blue point ragdoll. Isis is an Egyptian moon goddess. And moon, blue moon, I don't know. Since I was a kid, I always wanted a really pretty kitty like this and to name her Isis. And then like ISIS happened, like the terrorist group. So we just call her Kitty now because people always look at us weird, but you guys. Hi, meow. Say hi. She's so pretty. I love her. I know you don't. You just. Oh, she's a baby. So my cats will probably making some appearances. Can't keep them out of here. There's no door in my yarn room. My yarn room is kind of a corner of the house that I have taken over. I mean, really with my yarn dying and all my yarn, I've kind of taken over the whole house, but it's okay. It's okay. It'll be fine. Nobody's upset about it. Because, you want to know why nobody's upset about it? Because knitting. Because murder is wrong. And that's such a good philosophy to live by, really. You know, knitting. Because murder is wrong. You know? If I keep knitting, it keeps me out of trouble. So, what else? A little bit of life stuff. I got my COVID shot this week on Tuesday. And I where I went, they did not have Pfizer, so I got the Moderna. And my husband had gotten the Pfizer, and he's like, it didn't hurt at all. He didn't have any issues. So I didn't expect, I've never had a bad reaction to a flu shot or a vaccine, anything like that. So I was thinking like, it's gonna be, I'm not gonna feel it. So I don't know if it's the Moderna or who gave me the shot. It hurt going in. I definitely felt it. And my arm was very sore for like a couple days afterwards. Very sore. Other than that, I really didn't have any side effects or issues, or I was maybe a little bit tired. When I came home, I took a nap, but I often take naps. So, nothing out of the ordinary there. Something really sad happened this week, but I'm not going to. Yeah, that's a story for another time, but something really crazy and tragic happened this week to someone in my family. That was really sad, so there were some tears and things like that, but we'll get into that at some point. I think that's all I have for today. I don't know. We'll see how this goes. It's early in the morning. I have the rest of the day to try and edit this and get it uploaded. I have no idea how this is gonna go. I really don't. I'm trying to look at the camera and not at myself, because that's weird. It's really weird. It's weird to look at like a non-living object and like talk to it. But I'm talking to you guys, really, so right? Y'all, if you want to subscribe, like, follow me on Instagram, I'm Pretty Twisted Yarns. Visit my Etsy shop, Pretty Twisted Yarns. I would really appreciate it. Like, that would be really cool. Not sure if that will happen. We're gonna give it a go. We're gonna try. Because if you don't try, then it's definitely not gonna get done. So, thank you so much for joining me today. This was really fun. I don't know when I'm going to podcast again. I'd like to be like, I'm going to do this every week. I don't want to put that kind of pressure on myself and then not do it, right? So I would rather say like, I'm going to do this once a month and then do it twice and be like, yo, I'm awesome. Like I did this more than I thought I was going to do. So for right now, I'm going to say once a month. And then if I do it every week, I'll be like, what? That's so cool. All right. I'm going to sign off because the babbles. Anyways, have a great day, you guys.